All right, Christian Beasley, welcome to No Name Podcast. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what Velocity Skills is and what it is that you do.
Yeah, so I am a Hickory native, grew up there, pretty much been there, moved back after I went to Florida for a little bit, but I'll get to that here in a little bit. So basically I grew up in Hickory, started playing basketball as early as I could remember. I played in high school, was on varsity for 3 of my 4 years, really enjoyed that, had a great group of guys to play with. Ended up playing 2 years at an NAIA school in Johnson City, Tennessee, and had an interesting experience there that led into my coaching career and then my training career. So I've been really blessed to stay in basketball. There's a lot of guys that are very talented and very good that haven't been able to stay in the game through coaching or training, so I definitely consider myself blessed to be able to do that. Velocity started, like I said, after I'd had a couple years in coaching. So I was at a private school in the Hickory area, and after my 2 years of playing in college, I took the job as a teacher, which was definitely not the path I thought I was going to go down. But I was a teacher, and I did that so I could coach.
Right.
After my college experience, I went from in high school playing the 5, because I was the tallest guy on my team, pretty small town, so not too many giants around. And then when I went to college, I transitioned to a shooting guard. So I shot 1 3 in high school and got benched after I shot it. I get to college, they're like nothing but threes. So it was a huge transition for me.
That is a huge jump
That's
from
crazy.
Center to shooting guard.
Yes.
Did you have to learn like a whole new skill set, or did you already have that? Your coach in high school just wasn't letting you use your bag of tricks?
See, it's tough because basketball has changed so much since even just a couple years. It's more positionless now. So I was really stuck at that like dunker spot, catch the ball, just put it up, not really put it on the ground. If I did, it was like one dribble, and either you better put it up or get it out of there. So I've always been able to shoot the ball really well, but I wasn't able to showcase that really wasn't my role for us to be able to win games in high school, but it was a huge transition. I was really blessed to have some guys when I got to Milligan College that helped me out a lot in the transition. My ball handling was obviously you take one dribble in a game, you're not very comfortable handling the ball. So I had to get used to creating my own shot, coming off the screens in the wing. So it was a big, big transition for me. And we had played a lot of JUCOs, so I mean those guys can really go. So I had to learn how to speed up the game, speed up my game, my footwork, my shooting. I shot the ball really well, and that was pretty much my biggest asset. I tried to limit it to 1 or 2 dribble pull-ups because there's guys a lot faster, taller, athletic than me. So tried to play to my strengths as much as I could.
So it was more so the shot creation.
Absolutely.
That was the hardest part of the transition?
Yeah, I would say that and just speeding up. I mean, in high school, I would get the ball in the high post, be able to pivot, turn around, shoot, and I had time. Or I could get into a little pump fake, one dribble. But in college, I mean, you got very short amount of time to decide whether you're going to shoot or pump fake. So that was a big thing, the decision-making aspect of it. And, I mean, yeah, obviously you shoot 1 3 in high school, and then you're shooting all the time now. It's a mentality change more than anything, because I went from my high school coach, my stats were never like jump off the page at you, but I had the IQ to help the team win. So it wasn't something that you would have to understand basketball to see the value that I brought to the team. But when I got to college, I could show off more of my scoring ability, which I enjoyed.
Well,
Go ahead. Well, how did you end up at Milligan University?
So the guy that was recruiting me, his name's Rob Brindle, and I just had a really special connection with him. I wasn't getting very highly recruited. I think I had 1 Division II offer. Again, from that transition, they were betting on me making a transition from a 5 to a 3. So there was only a couple schools that were willing to take that risk. And I went up to Milligan, and I immediately connected well with the guys there. And it's a smaller school. I've always been a fan of smaller schools. I like to know people and have like intimate relationships instead of just kind of like, hey, how you doing? But Rob Brindle was the reason I went to the school. Unfortunately, after I got there, about probably a week or 2 after I got there, he ended up leaving for another coaching job. So that was a difficult thing for me as well. Because, college coaching staffs, each person has their role. He was obviously in charge of recruiting, so he brought a couple of us guys in that he had a plan for us and how we were going to fit into the system. and things changed after he left. So that was a pretty hard transition. But yeah, he really sold me on it, and the guys there were incredible. I mean, you had mentioned earlier the transition. They helped me from the jump. They sought me out, made sure that I had what I needed, and were very supportive of me. So I enjoyed my time there. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting, especially when Coach Brindle left. It was a hard transition, proving myself to the other coaches on staff of what I could offer.
Were y'all pretty good?
Yeah, we just couldn't put it together. Like, we had all the pieces to be really good, especially my freshman year. We had a really solid team. There was a guy named Kurt Brooks that just shoot the piss out of the ball, man. Like, he could hit shots from wherever. We had Mickey was our point guard, super fast guy, could facilitate, could have easily played at a low Division I school. We had all the pieces. It seemed like we could never just get them firing at the same time.
So what was your record? Because you threw the little pause.
No response there.
Just pick the year when it was the best.
Yeah, I think in my 2 years there, I think we're definitely over 500, but it wasn't.
Okay, that was decent.
It wasn't
I was
great.
expecting like 1 in 30.
Well, you know how it is, man. Like, as a basketball player, you pretty much know going in, like, this is going to be a hard-fought game, or this should be man, we had games we should have blown teams out. It just
Play lower to your competition.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And, we just, like I said, we never could put it together. It seemed like guys that really needed to perform really struggled when we needed them. So we can make excuses all day long, but we should have had a better season. I mean, the guys really liked each other. We clicked well together. It just, I don't know, we just could never put it together when it came game time, which was very frustrating.
I bet.
So do you feel because it was a smaller school than say your D1, some of your D2 schools there, that was the reason that your experience there was the way it was?
Man, to be honest, I hadn't talked to a lot of other college athletes about their experience, but I found over the years that my experience is pretty typical, which is unfortunate, and it's sad unless you are at a Division I school where you have the resources and they really have the staff to be able to develop their players. A lot of those lower level schools, they just take the mindset of they'll just recruit better. They're going to find somebody that fell through the cracks that will take the spot of somebody else. So it was difficult for people there that could have contributed a lot more to the team, but the skill development aspect of it wasn't there. And now as a skills trainer, I see a lack in a ton of programs that have the money and resources to have people in positions to help. I mean, it's at the highest levels too, man. It's kind of crazy. But the skill development piece of it, that's part of where my passion came from, is because if it wasn't for those other players taking the time to pour into me, my game wouldn't have developed. And I like to think now I'm pretty much in my prime. I try to stay active with the kids that I train now, but I owe a lot to those guys that poured that time into me. But yeah, resources is everything, but also, like I said, there's teams with resources that don't have that player development piece that's needed.
And you said your stats, your high school, high school didn't jump off the page or anything. So was it solely because of Brindle, or how did they even get word of you?
Yeah, I think all of my offers came because they were looking at other guys. And the mentality I had, Coach Ellis, he runs Moravian Prep. He helped me out a lot with my mentality going into stuff, because you can take the victim mentality of, it's not fair, I'm not getting seen, I'm not able to show what I can do. And he basically gave me the advice of, like, if you give it all you have, like, there may be somebody there looking at another guy, and you may have a standout night and get your chance. And that's what happened with me is the Lee's McRae was one of the schools that was recruiting me. They were there when we played Freedom High School, and they were there looking at another guy, but I just gave it all I had and had a really good game, and that ended up, sparking that interest. And then Coach Brindle had come to a practice because of a connection with another player, and then we had started conversations from there. So just I'm a big strike while the iron's hot guy now, and I feel like Coach Ellis really started that with me, is like not being victim to the situation, but find how you can still get to where you want to be regardless of, what your situation looks like currently.
Go out every night, play hard, and you never know what might come of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you never know who's watching.
correct.
Coach Ellis is a good guy.
He
So you
is.
was training with Eli and Isaac.
So they were super young.
Yeah.
back then.
But
So-
they were super good still. But
Oh,
back then.
absolutely. Yeah, those guys are phenomenal. So Coach Ellis saw something in me through the Christmas tournament games that were held in high school. And he's the first one in our area that was ever doing any type of skill development work. And I got in a couple of sessions with him, and he was intense, and I had a bad attitude in high school, and he helped get some of that out of me and really helped me a lot. Sat down with me, took my parents out to eat, and had some conversations with me that really changed the way I look at things and told me what I needed to hear, something that other people weren't doing. And he basically put me in my place and say, if you want to go where you say you want to go, here's the steps. It's your choice. And he taught me to honor people, even though it seems hard to do it, to find something that you can honor about them. And that's helped me regardless in life, just trying to find the positive in situations and in people, even if you may not like them or get along with them, because it's a good life lesson. I'm sure you've had people that you played with that aren't your favorite people in the world, but if you want to accomplish a common goal, you got to get over that and find something you can respect about that person so you can work together.
Right. And that's well said.
Yeah, Ellis was a good dude.
Yeah, Ellis. So I actually, when I was at the private school I was coaching at, got the opportunity to coach Eli and Isaac for a year.
Was that right after college?
Yes. So as soon as I left college, I had a couple months of, feeling bad for myself because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it's a hard transition. It's something that I hope to get into, talk about later with my athletes now. I have conversations with them, realistic conversations of what they want to do long term, because the ball stops bouncing for most people in their life, and they have to transition into something new. So after I decided, had a couple of JUCO offers where I could transfer, I just decided that I felt like I could offer more in coaching than I could as a player. And I had already met my wife. I got married super young. I got married at 21. So I had met my wife. Her and I were getting serious. So I was like, I'll just, take a coaching job and see where it goes. And Coach Ellis and I got reconnected. Through that, he helped me a ton in my coaching career, gave me a lot of great advice, taught me how to run a practice, taught me how to run a hard practice.
Trust me.
Yes.
They were tough.
Man, the environment they've created at Moravian Prep is, I've never seen it anywhere else. And I've been to some practices, and that man, he knows how to get the best out of the people on his team. So,
what's a hard practice look like?
Man, well, I was at a Christian school, so the kids there was a pay-to-play mentality there, and there was a very I'm a Christian myself. I'm a believer, but I don't believe in weak men. I don't believe that we should just cower down and whatnot. I feel like if we're going to go out and compete, then we need to go out and compete. So Coach Ellis brought a physicality to practice that they weren't used to. So we had this drill called No Babies Allowed. You may have done that. Basically, it's like you can foul, you can do whatever you want. I had people jumping on other people's backs. It was crazy. But it was basically the mentality of, I have to score 3 buckets before I get out. And so it'd be 3 people in the paint. If you scored 3 buckets, you were out. Until you scored 3 buckets, you were in there. So I'd have kids in there 20, 30 minutes crying, but it didn't. I had a lot of parent emails about that.
I'm sure.
Yeah. It was a culture shock. When you have a school that has turnover year after year in the coaching position, there's no consistency for the kids. There's no standard. So Coach Ellis really helped me build a standard of, we're gonna be tough. We're gonna get foul. We're gonna play through contact, because the whole rec ball stuff of like, you foul, you flail around.
Right.
My guys really got tough because of those drills, and we started winning games. And the mentality that Coach Ellis has instilled in Eli was the main star of our team, honestly. Like, he was performing at such a high level. He's out here crossing up high school kids in the 5th grade.
Yeah, he's number 1 player in the state right now. Like
He's
top 10 in the
ridiculous.
country right now, too.
So who is this?
Eli is his son. I believe he's junior now.
So his last name's Ellis?
Yeah.
Eli Ellis?
Eli
Okay.
Ellis.
Coach Ellis, Coach Eli, and Isaac, all high school.
Yeah,
And played for OTE, I believe.
Wow.
they did. Yeah, well, I still do. They're still in that league. But, yeah, having them on the team, too, it elevated everybody's confidence, because they knew, like, Eli has been taught from a young age, like, you're going to have to carry, you're going to have to lead. So having their influence there at the school really changed things for us. Like, we won our conference for the first time in forever, because the kids could get behind Eli, they could get behind what we were doing, they were learning life lessons. I still get calls and texts today about those practices where they're like, I really found out like who I was as a person because of all that, and now like I think if I could do that, how hard that was, I can really accomplish anything that I want.
Mm-hmm.
So in the coaching, I coached 3 years there. My first 3 years were just basic high school private school basketball. We played, pretty small schools. We had a decent record. The school decided to make some changes my last year there, and they brought in some international players. So we had, I think it was like 20-some international kids, and it was crazy.
Some international player, 20?
Yes. Yeah, they decided to go all out, which proved detrimental in the end just because of the expenses that come along with that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, we brought in Coach Miller, who coached at Mount Mission, and he had a bunch of connections, brought a bunch of guys in. So we were playing a national schedule. So we were playing Oak Hill, Huntington Prep, like all these huge schools. So it was a culture shock for the kids that are just small town kids.
Right.
And but it was also really good because I feel like with them being in a bubble, they really learned about other cultures and saw the work ethic of those guys. So within Coach Ellis coming in and helping us build a standard, and then with those guys coming in and them being really focused on basketball and having a plan and a vision, I feel like it really helped our guys really step up. Mm-hmm. And that's when I got introduced to skills training, was through those international guys. So basically they had somebody where they were from working with them. And I was in that head coaching position, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't feel like I was being as effective as I could be. So with our international team, I was the assistant coach on that one, and I was really able to step back and see what we needed from each guy to be successful. And then I could take time and practice to say, hey, let's work on this, let's do this. And it was very specific focuses. So, like, we got to get you to open up your hips more here. And I could show them on film. And because of their athletic ability and just their overall IQ, I could talk to them at a different level. So for me, it was so refreshing because I was having to teach, not at a lower level as in a disrespectful way, but teaching a lot of fundamental things to my normal team. So that gave me an opportunity to really expand and show what I could do and how I could develop a player. And then after a couple months, our guys started getting really good results, and college coaches started noticing more. And that sparked my love because I could see tangibly within each player, like, we've worked on this, I can prove that we've worked on it, and I can prove that they've gotten better at it. So that's where I really sparked my love for skills training. Definitely not where I thought I was going to be, but I'm so thankful. I don't miss coaching really at all, and I really enjoy now the relationship that I get to have with each player. Because as an assistant coach, again, it gave me an opportunity when they came out of the game, the head coach would tell me, like, hey, I need him to do this, I need him to lock in, whatever. Gave me an opportunity to take time with each guy, develop a relationship, know how to talk to them to get the most out of them. And, I just fell in love with it.
Like individually, so you were able to get really technical on things.
Yes.
And who was, real quick before, because I feel like that just opened up a whole bunch of stuff there,
Yeah.
but real quick, who was the best team that whenever you were on the national schedule, best team and player they all played against?
That's a good question.
The travel schedule must have been like
Oh,
a
it's-
whirlwind for those
it's
kids
nuts.
too.
It's nuts, man. I mean, when you're, especially for our school, it's such a culture shock for them because the kids were out of class and other things they weren't used
Yeah.
to whatsoever. I would say Oak Hill was the best program that we played, and I don't know, man. They had a lot of great guys.
They
on the
usually do.
team.
You
Yeah.
played the Oak Hill 8, the main team or the B team?
Main team.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That was when Anthony was there.
Cole Anthony.
Yeah, Cole Anthony. He was a phenomenal person, really great hooper. He took the time to, like, come over, talk to the coaching staff, and those really high level players too. It gave a good vision for our guys of how they interact with people, because I think a lot of times, like, people like Cole Anthony get like, oh, he must be a jerk, he must be this and that.
Yeah, because
like,
he grew up around the NBA
yeah,
kind of thing.
Harry Giles, we were just in the gym with him out in Vegas, and watching him talk to NBA agents, man, it's crazy. Like, the connection, the intentionality of knowing details, stuff like that. And I really got introduced to that with Cole Anthony at Oak Hill. He actually got hurt the game that we played him. He ended up with an ankle sprain, but just watching him play, man, he was just unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, his athleticism, his quickness, basketball IQ, pace of play, that was definitely, and that was probably my favorite experience, was going to Oak Hill. It's definitely an iconic place. A lot of great players have come from there, so that was probably the best team that we played. Now, we played some really talented teams, and we got our butt handed to us quite a bit as a first-year program. But
Happens.
yeah, it was a really good experience.
So after that year, did you just jump right into training?
Yeah, so what ended up happening was the school, went through some financial difficulties because of the stress of bringing 20-some players in at one time. You've got housing, you've got food, you've got uniforms. There's a lot of, there was a lot of costs that weren't counted before those were taken on. So what ended up happening, unfortunately, was the school closed. So I was in a position to where my wife and I both worked at the school.
Like
so
the school just like shut down.
down.
That's
Shut
crazy.
Yeah, shut down. Yeah, so it was a mess, man. I don't. there's a lot of things that I can't talk about with it, but
Right.
yeah, it was very disappointing because the school was great. Like as a whole, the kids there were like unlike anything I'd ever seen. Even just regular school kids, the way they accepted the international players, there wasn't a big like tension that you would expect from more small town people, honestly. But yeah, so I had a decision to make. My wife and I both lost our income. We didn't get paid our last 3 paychecks. So it was a rough situation. So I'm sitting there thinking, how am I going to provide for my family? You know, I'm newly married. I'm like, this is not a good look. So thankfully, a couple months before the school closed, I was kind of seeing what was going on. So I started reaching out to some local coaches and saying, hey, I'm offering skills training. And so I ended up picking up 5 clients. I would use our gym at the school to train them on Saturdays. So my schedule, man, was nuts. So I would wake up and I drove a school bus. And
A school bus?
Yes, man.
It's like one of those microbuses.
No, it
like
was
a full-blown
legit-
school bus?
A legit school bus that I parked at my house every night so I could wake up and get the guys to their morning lift. So I would swing by the team house, and I would get up at like 5 a.m., go get them from the team house, take them to school. At the time, I was teaching a class in the process of getting my master's degree, and then I was teaching multiple classes, math and PE. And then after I'd have my own team practice, I'd have the elite team practice, and then I would take them to the local university because they had a buffet. So we paid them so the guys could just eat whatever they want. I would take them home, come home, say hello to my wife, and lock myself in my room and work on my master's degree. And that was my life for months and months on end.
Wow.
Grinding.
Yeah, it was.
How long was the whole process there? Like of that life there? Or I guess give or take.
6 months.
6 months?
6 months, yeah. Yeah, I would not recommend it, especially newly married. It was not fun.
So these kids were still at the school after it shut down?
So this was I kind of jumped back. That was during the year.
Oh,
what was
okay, I
going
gotcha.
on. And
I
then
gotcha.
After the school shut down, obviously we were trying to help place kids at different schools and whatnot and figure
Yeah.
out what they're going to do. So they stayed in the team house until, everything was sorted out. But yeah, for me, losing our last 3 paychecks, I was really in a spot where I had to decide. It's very, very nerve-wracking having a normal job where you can count on the income, and then going from that to you're not getting your last paycheck and you can't use the gym anymore and other things. Like gym space is hard to come by. So I got to the point where I was like, I was praying. I was like, God, you're going to have to work it out because I don't know. Like, I really want to do training full-time. I feel like that's what you called me to do. But, I don't see how that's possible. And Cassidy McCorkle is the guy that I owe Velocity Skills Training to. So he really saw the potential in me. I coached his son in the AAU season. He's like, man, you got a real knack for coaching. Like, let's talk. And I showed him some of the stuff I was doing with the international kids, and he was like, man, I think you could really do this. And so he gave me an opportunity. He is the one that started Team Hickory. It's an AAU program in our area. So I went from working with 5 kids to 100 kids a week.
Wow.
And so he gave me a huge opportunity. He basically said, like, here's all of our teams. I know you can do it. He helped me come up with the name. We sat there and brainstormed about, like, what is your vision? What do you see? So velocity is the speed of an object in a given direction. I was like, I just want to give kids direction in which to work hard so I know that it's going to pay off for them. Because there was a ton of kids with great work ethic, but we'll get into my training style here in a minute. It was so ineffective, and they weren't seeing results. So I was like, what can we do? And then Cassidy helped me come up with the name. He really gave me the confidence to start it all and the platform. So going from 5 kids to 100 kids, I mean.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Cassidy McCorkle?
Yeah,
Was his son Carson?
No, Homori.
Oh, okay.
He has another son. I'm not sure of his other son's
I just know Carson McCorkle played at Greensboro Day. They played at Virginia Tech.
Not him. Different
Shout out to Cassidy McCorkle there. Now, what was that like his full-time job, or what was he doing at that point?
So he was, I believe, selling tires. So Cassidy is a great guy. He has such a heart for kids, and there was no AAU program in our area whatsoever. There was no development. He has a big push for development And he just saw the need and really took a risk and put it out there and worked through all of the mess of Hickory. Hickory's never really had a thriving basketball programs in general for a reason. It's kind of a tough area to start things in, so he took a big risk in that. Yeah, but he was just selling tires, and he just wanted to get back to the kids. And, man, he supported me. He helped me find somebody to do a logo for me. He bought my gear. He did everything.
He saw talent, saw opportunity, and said, "Hey, how can we kill two
Yep.
birds with one stone here? Help the kids out, help you out." Like, I guess it was just good timing. It sounds like.
No, 100%. Yeah, it was God's timing in the whole thing because I couldn't have timed it any better myself.
I take it he wasn't one of the parents that emailed you about how hard you were practicing kids.
No, he never complained once on how I coached this kid. You know, there's a lot of parents that I've run into. I've worked with over 1,000 kids now and done over 10,000 sessions. And, you know, there's definitely parents that you can tell the way they parent at home by the way they talk to their kid. And I've been privy to a lot of conversations in between parents and kids. And Cassidy's whole thing was, if this is what you really say that you want, he would tell Maury this all the time. He's like, then you're going to have to work. And he's like, I can't. He would provide his kid every opportunity to be successful, but he never pushed him to do it. He was just like, here's the opportunity. If you want to take advantage of it, take advantage of it. If not, then don't. So I ended up working with my first Division I player through Cassidy. He paid for him to come and everything, and he just put a lot of hope and trust in me that gave me the confidence to really get started. So I was working with his son, Hamori, and a guy named Caleb Hewitt. So Caleb played at Gardner-Webb for a year, and now he's at Bluefield. He took a couple years off and then got back into playing. Incredible athlete. Was really fortunate to work with those guys, and I just worked the dog mess out of them and just tried things on them and, you know, tried to develop who I was going to be as a trainer. We would do Vertimax workouts. The gym that we were using at the time had broken AC. It was like 99 in the gym in the summer,
man.
and we were going multiple times a day. It was amazing.
Real cold in the winter, which
yeah.
probably isn't too bad.
No, I prefer the cold over
Yeah.
Sound like the Raven Prep Gym.
Yes, very very similar. The place did not want to fix the AC, and I was not picky, so it is what it is.
It sounds like with Hickory, there wasn't like a ton going on. It was kind of like disorganized with basketball, but it also sounds like there's a lot of kids in the area that loved it and just needed some guidance. If you went from 5 kids to 100 like that.
Yes. And there's not a premium, there wasn't a premium put on training back then either, and there's still not now. Like the whole AAU thing is all about exposure and things like that, but I'm like, what kind of exposure are you getting? If you're not skilled, if you're not a good decision maker, if you're not a good shooter, like you're getting, this exposure, but it's not really positive exposure. It's just, you're getting seen by coaches as an average player. So the area really needed somebody to really hone in on skill, and I'm thankful to be that person. And, you know, when we started working through that, kids were starting to see more college offers. They were starting to see more confidence. And, you know, at the beginning, our main thing was to help players build confidence. That was it. And I believe the easiest way to do that, obviously, is get in the gym. That's the first thing. And there's a big, you know, time. When I was growing up, my parents had to basically like ground me because I would be at the gym. I would skip dinner. I would like do all this crazy stuff just because I wanted to be around basketball and I wanted to get better. A lot of these kids, it's not the case. I mean, yes, we can say the opportunities weren't there, but also the desire wasn't there to get better.
Motivation, desire, everything like that.
Yes.
So now with that AAU team, was it Hickory AAU?
Yeah, team.
Now, were you directly like a coach there with him, or were you just a skills trainer, or what does that look like?
I was just a skills trainer, so I wasn't like officially on staff with them or anything. I did some advising for some coaches on the team. That was my first way I could really take the years of coaching that I'd had and apply it. And, you know, I helped them through some of the startup pains of, you know, parents being upset about this, that, and the third. Parents are always upset, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, you ain't going to please everybody.
No, you're not going to. But, no, I wasn't actually on staff, but I had a big part in just helping them develop as players, trying to get the program off the ground. They're doing really well now. Team Hickory, you know, everything has to work out kinks and communications and stuff like that. But, yeah, it was a great experience, and then I just retained players from that. And I started on social media right around that time when I was working with Hamori and Caleb. And I didn't really understand the importance of it then. It was more just like, okay, I'll just post every now and again and show people what I'm doing. But just being able to like grow in social media and seeing what people want to see and learn. I'm a big teacher, so I want to teach. So I've had to adapt my strategy. Not everybody wants to sit down and listen to me talk for a minute. They'd rather see something fun.
We'd all prefer that, though, right?
Yeah. It would be nice, but but anyway, we started our social media page then and just kind of fumbled through the beginning stages of it. And then I really started to hone in what was important to me as a trainer, and that's relationships. I really wanted to be very involved with the kids that I had. So I would go watch their games, whether it was rec games or high school or middle school. I didn't care. I just wanted them to see that I cared about them. Mm-hmm. And I believe that is the single thing. Of course, people saw me in the stands with velocity gear, and you get, what do you do? Who are you here to watch other than that? But it was really not even for that. It was just to show the kid that I cared about them. And what I was telling them in the gym, like I wanted to see that transfer to the court. And I would sit there and have conversations with them after games and just like give all that I could and pour all that I could into the kids that I had. And parents saw that. They appreciated that. A lot of these kids, they come from, different situations. Some of them are in great families. Some of them are in broken families. So being that positive role model to them and showing up when maybe other people in their family that should be showing up weren't. And that's how I got kids to buy into what we were doing. And that's really what I feel like has set us up for the long term is the relationships. Because I've retained a lot of clients since they've been with me since I, started working with that travel team. I still have 2 girls, Emily and Zoe, that have been working with me for almost 6 years now. So it's been really cool, but I've developed a relationship with them through just showing up and being present.
That's amazing.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Obviously, you just love the game too. So hey, you get to go watch the game I love, watch the the kids that you help ultimately, watch them progress, and probably see some other things that you can work on, and then get some free marketing too. Obviously, nothing wrong with that.
That's never a bad thing. Word of mouth has definitely helped us a lot. So, but fast forward to where we're at today, we've taken on Coach Joey. So he's really a phenomenal shooting coach, one of the best in the country in my opinion. He's been in Raleigh for the past couple of years at Raleigh Christian Academy and really built something special there. And we caught each other at the right time, and I asked him to come down and join me in Hickory. And he graciously accepted, and we've been really putting plans into how can we grow for the future, how can we make it sustainable long term. And we've really developed a training style of, I'm not your typical let's stand on the line and do left-hand dribbles. I'm very much, how can I make this fun for kids? Because there's a very small amount of kids that actually go play at the next level. So this is their opportunity to experience basketball and have a good time with it. Mm-hmm. So we take a more small-sided games approach to everything. So perfect example, instead of just standing on the baseline dribbling with your left hand, we'll play dribble tag, to where you got to dribble with your left hand, but you're focused on attacking somebody else. Or we'll play dribble knockout where you got to
gamify everything.
Yeah. So it's been a really good thing because kids enjoy getting better now, instead of just like, Mom, don't make me go to that trainer. He's just going to make me dribble with my left hand the whole time. We make it fun and engaging. And we do things in a way and teach in a 3-step process where it's very easy for kids to understand. So we have our app that breaks down pretty much every move that you can think of into 3 steps. So pretty much everything we do, whether you're in elementary school or you're all the way up in college, like I've had to teach college guys pretty simple moves, but being able to simplify it to that degree has really helped us develop the amount of kids that we've been able to develop.
So you get your own app that breaks it. That's awesome.
What's the app called?
It's just Velocity Skills Training.
Velocity Skills Training. Okay.
So did you have to go through and with each move kind of make a video, or is it a write-up, or?
Yeah, it's a video. So basically I just demonstrate what the move is, and then I talk through what the steps of the move would be. And then from there, we just talk about repetition, and small nuances to it. Like in our spin move, for instance, most kids, when they do a spin move, they pick the ball up with 2 hands, but we teach the nuance of being able to dribble and then pull the ball back. So we teach small things like that are really high-level things, but if you can teach it right off the bat, it's a lot easier for them to understand. And we skill stack to where the things that we've been working on and our training throughout the week is going to allow them to get those moves easier.
Yeah.
So our approach is every month we have a focus of the month, to where like this past month it was like our preseason, or during October it's been our preseason. So week 1 was ball handling, week 2 was finishing, week 3 was shooting, week 4 was defense. So we just go through and make sure we have a very intentional approach to every week, so they come away with something, and then are able to stack those skills as they go along.
That's
So
the app there.
Yes, that's it.
So you focus on defense as well.
Yes.
Not just
yes.
offense.
Yes. So we are it's funny, we get some comments on Instagram and Facebook about, I never see y'all working on defense, but this whole past week and tomorrow's sessions, it's going to be strictly defense. So we do a lot of the Coach Ellis-esque drills where it's going to be, you got to get 3 stops in a row to get off of defense. So we've had kids this week that have hated me, and they're like crying, want to go home, but it's a great learning lesson for them. Like, if you want to play, you have to play defense.
Yeah.
It's
You
not,
still post that on social media too, even the defensive stuff?
I don't
or
post
do
the
you?
kids crying, but it's defense is, there's definitely some nuances that you can teach about defense, but really it's just a thing of kids don't want to play
Yeah,
defense.
nobody wants to watch it or play it, or
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So just getting them over the mental hump of like, this is something that you can add value. That's what we talk about with our kids, is like, how can you add value to your team? So what are people in your team doing and what are they not doing? Most of these kids are not playing defense. You want playing time, play defense. If you want playing time, get rebounds. If you want playing
Right.
time, hustle, you know?
Yeah,
think
it's
a
not
lot-
just all about scoring.
yeah, a lot of kids look at, well, defense isn't going to get me on SportsCenter top 10 unless it turns into offense.
Correct.
Right? So
I think one
I
of the
we get
biggest
lost in
things
that.
a coach said when I was playing was, you're going to be whatever you can guard.
100%.
So if you want to be a point guard, you got to learn how to guard a point guard.
Yes.
So I mean, Dad took that and ran with it. So I believe you've been doing that for the velocity, so that's good.
Yeah.
So what have y'all done to, I guess, changes or improvements and stuff to make it more sustainable moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Coach Joey has really brought in the vision for the long term for us. So breaking into the NBA space was always a dream of mine. And so he's made that a reality. We've gotten our foot in the door with an agency that gave us the opportunity to go out to the Summer League. And we got to be in the gym with a lot of great guys and make some good connections. And super thankful for that. So we're going to nurture those relationships and just help those guys out as much as we can, and show that we can help their game get better.
When you're out there for the summer league, what are you kind of doing? Are you doing like one-on-ones? Are you doing group shooting sessions? Are you running kind of like practices? What's that look like?
So I didn't know what to expect. It was kind of a last minute thing. It was like, hey, we'd love to have you guys out. So we came out and we did a little bit of everything. So Ronnie Taylor he runs most of his stuff out of Miami. He works with John Wall, Scottie Pippen Jr., all those guys. He was in the gym, same gym as us. So we got to assist in a lot of his stuff and meet those guys and work with them. Bam. I really enjoy the workout with Scottie Pippen Jr. He's great. Barry Brown Jr. played with Victor Wembanyama last year. He's back in France again this year. Haywood Highsmith Jr. plays for the Heat. So we got to assist in some of those workouts. I played some defense against some of those guys, which was definitely an experience. Them boys are strong. They are strong. But we did get the opportunity to work with some players one-on-one. Jelly, that plays for the Mavericks. Coach Joey had worked closely with him on some shooting things. And then R.J. Hunter just got signed with the Hornets recently.
Yep.
We got the opportunity to work with him a couple times. Fantastic person. He's great. We still keep in touch with him. And
So was this opportunity presented to y'all like just this past year
So-
for the first time, or?
So Joey is an extremely talented design guy. So he makes flyers and does all these crazy good edits. And so basically he got connected in with the agency through edits. A lot of his connections has come through the edits. And he just throws in there like, hey, I'm actually a shooting coach that just happens to do edits. So that's been his way into a lot of things. He's gotten a lot of great connections, been able to work with some really high-level people just off of that. So that's been one of the things for him coming in is, how can we break into that space? He's already got a lot of great relationships there. So that's been really encouraging. So Coach Joey, like I said, he focuses a lot on shooting stuff. And believe it or not, watching the NBA, a lot of guys need help with their shot. And stuff that we teach and I'll say this in a degrading way, our middle school guys to do is things that some of these NBA guys are missing, like very small changes to their shot that make a huge difference. So we've been able to throw out some nuggets here and there to these players of like, hey, change this, hey, tweak this, and it's very little stuff, but it makes a huge impact. So we hope to continue to have opportunities to work with guys, and we feel like shooting is the main way that we can add a value. Not to say we can't in other ways, but if you can't shoot the ball, you're going to struggle to play.
Right.
That gets you in the door, right?
Correct.
So with this agency, is it like a contract, or is it just kind of, hey, we want you to come out?
Yeah, so with anything, you got to prove yourself. So we're in that stage of like it's a relationship that Coach Joey's had for a while, and worked for many years, and we just happen now to be able to break through and offer some type of value to them. So that's our plan, is just continue to offer value. We're not on any type of contract or anything with them. It's just we're pretty much on call. If there's a player that needs help, we're going and doing until we can get a guy that we really feel like we can help and that enjoys working with us, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
It's been really fun. It's humbling too, man. When we were out there in the gym with these guys, you hear about guys like this and some of their backstory and whatnot. So it's really cool to be just in the same gym with them, watch out like how they work. And also for our clients back home, it's really cool, for them they didn't care about anything. They were just like, how was the summer league? Tell me who you worked with. And that was the main thing they wanted to talk about. But again, great opportunity, and we'll hope to continue to have opportunities like that. And we have a great relationship with a lot of collegiate players too that we're developing. Coach Joey's worked with some guys. I've worked with some guys that have gone from college to pro. Some are still in college. So we've really, for sustainability, we want to challenge as trainers too. The middle school stuff is great, but you're teaching a lot of the same stuff all the time. So it can be kind of monotonous, and where our goal is just to expand to where we started offering a little dribblers program for younger kids to get them involved. And then we've branched out, of course, now got our foot in the door with some NBA stuff as well. So we have a whole variety of things. And then the main thing that we started is a 3-on-3 league. So
that's fun.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. It's our first time ever doing something like that. So it starts in January. We're going to do a 6-week league in Hickory. And there's going to be no coaches. So it's going to be awesome for the kids. They're going to play with their friends and just get to learn basketball. And that's the disconnect I was talking about earlier, not being in the gym, just figuring out, playing against older people like I did, and that's how I got better as a kid. They're playing video games most of the time, if we're being honest. So now they can just get out, play with their friends, don't have to worry about being yelled at by a coach, and they can learn the game through 3-on-3.
What are the details of the 3-on-3?
So we're doing it every Saturday starting January 20th. So it would be 6 Saturdays in a row. They get 2 games per day. And basically, we're just doing 15-minute running clock where they'll sub out, and it's pretty much continuous play.
Like age brackets? Or?
Yeah, we're going to go, youngest is going to be first grade, and then oldest will be 10th grade.
Nice.
It's hard for 11th and 12th graders during the season to get out and do anything like that, but we found like that JV age, they really enjoy being able to, have another way to get out and play.
Play basketball.
During the season, you get tired of hearing a coach talk, so it'd be nice for them to just get out and play and have fun and not necessarily worried about, getting fussed at. And that's another thing with our parents. Like we have some rules in place where while they're in our gym, like we just ask that the parents allow us to do our job. And that's been helpful because, these kids need to hear from different people. And we have some parents that have done some incredible things and really good basketball players, and they're like, my kid won't listen to me. And I'm like, well, they should, but, it's good for us to be able to have that voice in their life and be able to reiterate what the parents are saying at home too. But yeah, we're super excited about the 3-on-3. We plan to do another one in the summer as well. So we'd like to run 2 a year to give kids a good alternative to AAU. It's going to be a lot cheaper. There's no gate fees. It's in the same gym every single week. So the travel's
Figure out some things that work well, some things that maybe you can improve for someone, and just kind of trial and error.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So if I was going to hit you up and say, like, I really want to work on my game, what does it look like to work with you? Do you do like a lot of one-on-ones? Would it be group sessions? What's your process really look like?
Great question. So when people reach out to us, I'm really trying to figure out what they're trying to achieve first, because we do offer individual sessions, but I feel individual only helps so much and for like certain problems. So If you have a broke jumper, we're going to do individual sessions. But, you know, if it's a thing of my kid's not confident, they don't handle the ball well, I am a firm believer in doing stuff against defense.
Right.
And that's one of the main differences of when I was starting to now is I used to do a lot of stuff 1-on-0. Now it's just basically I'm going to put you in a situation through a small-sided game to get better at whatever you want to work on. So we typically offer a free session for kids to just come in and make sure that they enjoy it, because obviously at the end of the day I want them to have fun. And usually when we've only had one person, I think, in the past like couple hundred kids be like, nah, it's not for me. Everybody else loves the environment.
Yeah.
They love the other kids. They develop lifelong friendships. Like, it's crazy. I hear parents all the time. They're like, well, yeah, we met through Velocity, and now we've been friends for the past couple years. Our families hang out. So usually when people reach out, I just ask, what are you looking to accomplish? And then we do small groups is what we found most effective. So we do no more than 6 kids in a group. So we can do a lot of, one-on-one, two-on-one, two-on-two stuff, and that's the process that we use. And then we offer, we used to offer camps. Right now we've switched primarily to clinics, and we're coming up, I think next weekend, we're offering a free community clinic. So anybody in the community that wants to come out, and we're really just trying to help kids as they get prepared for the season.
Yeah.
So
How often do y'all do those?
We haven't. This is our first big free one, but we're going to offer it more frequently, just because there's a lot of kids that aren't financially, or families that are financially able, but we still want to be able to give to those kids as well.
So I saw you, speaking of camps, kind of brought it up my next question. I see you was with Dale Curry and Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so connections are everything, and relationships are everything. One of my parents has a really special connection with some pretty cool people, and he gave me the opportunity. He said, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to take a group of kids up there and give them something really special that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives. And I've been working with his kids for a couple years, and he had been kind of filling me out. We hadn't talked too awful much, and he's like, yeah, I want you to do this. I want you to run it. So I got the opportunity to go up there and run a camp with Muggsy and Dale. It was an incredible experience. Those guys are amazing. Muggsy was really, really good with the kids, and his story is so inspirational for the kids that were there, but really every kid, of not giving up, persistence, not letting, of course he's short, but I mean, the things he was able to accomplish despite that is incredible. And there were so many kids that walked away from that experience with so much confidence of what they could accomplish. And it ended up being a really cool experience for me too. I mean, my playing career didn't go exactly how I wished it would go, but just being diligent and, investing in the kids led to that situation. And, I got to talk to Muggsy's family, Ty Bogues, great guy, loves the kids, does a lot of stuff with the Hornets organization with the kids. And then Del Curry, I took that opportunity. I have a 14-month-old son, so I took the opportunity to tell him he has the best. His son's the best shooter in the world right now, but, as my kid.
You got to introduce him to the next one.
Yes, yeah.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you. So we got him a little tight goal. He's been, I say he's been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it more than he has. But,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's a great opportunity to talk to them. We talk golf. I just got into golf pretty recently. Just a new challenge.
Yeah, they be golfing a lot. Ty be golfing a lot.
All the time.
Ty's pretty good, though.
I'm not. I'm getting there.
I think that's what happens when everybody just starts.
Oh, of course.
It's a tough sport.
Yeah, but it was a really cool experience. I got to have some good conversations. My dad and my brother. So the thing that I've always been about with my family is being able to give them experiences. So my dad and brother got to come along and meet them and talk to them, and that was really special for me because it's like the culmination of all my hard work and relationships and doing the right thing, and being able to give them the experience of sitting courtside, watching that, getting to interact with these guys. It was really cool. It was a really nice experience. And like I said, those guys were phenomenal with the kids, and the kids still talk about it, man. They'll be like, oh, you remember when Muggsy told me this, or you remember when Dale was saying this? So it was neat.
Is
That's
that something
awesome.
they do yearly, or?
Yeah, so, it was a situation where it kind of just worked out, and, things fell in line. And, myself and the guy that set it up have talked about doing stuff in the future as well with something like that. So hopefully, we can make it happen again. But it's one of those things where I don't expect it, but if the opportunity arises, I'd be, obviously more than happy to be in that situation again.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So what's next for you and Velocity?
Yeah, so Velocity for me it's grown past anything I would ever imagine it to be. I mean, I've gotten the opportunity to make some really cool connections. I went down to Miami and connected with Coleman Ayers by Any Means Basketball, and he really changed a lot of things for me. And I think I mentioned it before, I moved down to Florida for a couple months and was able to work with 2 guys there that are ranked and have a very bright future. So the future for Velocity is I definitely want to use basketball as a platform to pour into kids and to give them confidence on and off the court. And also, I want to continue to develop myself to show them that, even when you've been doing this thing for a long time, there's always room to get better. I never want to be complacent. So I continue to have mentors. Dustin Van Loo, he's up in New York, and his brother Ryan Van Loo down in Florida. They've been great resources for me and helped me out a lot. So continue to develop relationships with guys like that is definitely, what's next for Velocity so we can help more kids. Rocky DeAndre is up in Boston. He's been gracious, and we partner together on a clinic up there every year. We got it's well over 100 kids to come to that one.
Awesome.
So continue to do that and give my family experiences too. My son's changed my entire life and the way I think. So it's that the answer to this question is different now for me that I've had him. So I really want to build something, and we haven't touched on the real estate piece. I've been in real estate for 2 years now as well. So I want to build multiple things to where I can create something for my kids to do as well. Now, I'm not going to force them, son, you got to be a basketball trainer, but give them options
right.
if they want to continue things as
Leave
well.
Leave a legacy for them.
Correct. And that was Coach Joey's vision as well for his kids. He's got a boy and a girl. So I just want to build something that's genuine and continue to build something that's genuine in Velocity that offers a great product. But our training is good, but our relationships with players is really what matters. So just continuing to be present. We've changed our schedule, which there's not many trainers that can say this. We've changed our schedule to be able to be at games. So we don't take on training at certain times just so we can be there for the kids.
That's awesome.
That'll
Cool.
never change.
That is awesome. And the real estate aspect of things, where are you at in that space?
Yeah, so that's actually how we connected. So
Right.
I saw.
Okay, I was going to ask how y'all met.
So I was scrolling through Instagram. When I was in Florida, I really took a big interest in growing our social media. So we grew it from, I think it was 1,400 to 16,000 now. And so through that, I've been able to connect with a lot of cool people through Instagram. I'd mentioned earlier, I didn't know the power of it, but just having a bigger following now has led to a lot of cool opportunities. But I saw your video on the new construction project that you guys are doing, and we're taking on a new construction project as well. We just closed on the land last week.
Well,
So,
congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm excited about it. So I'll back up a little bit. At Milligan, I met a guy named Neil Johnson, and he was my suite mate. Very similar situation that I was going through in basketball. So he and we were on the phone for an hour today. We talk very often. And in training at first, I wasn't making that much money. I wasn't charging a lot, and we had kids, but I was just doing whatever I needed to do. I was giving discounts, whatever. So I would touch base with Neil. He's like, man, I just flipped this house. I made X amount of money. And I'm like, what, dude? I'm going to make that this year, and you make that on one house? And he's like, yeah. And so I was like, okay, kind of let it go. And then we talked again. He's like, I just flipped this house for $60K. I was like, bro, shut up. I was like, tell me what you're doing. I think the only reason, I don't say this as a degrading thing. There's not a lot special about me, and different than other people, but I take action. And that's the main separator. So Neil has talked and mentored a lot of people. And I called him. I was like, I'm not going to waste your time, bro. If you tell me what you're doing, I will follow your advice to a T, and I'll do it. And he told me, and I just jumped in. So when we were in Florida, I was flipping a house in North Carolina, my first flip ever. It was a nightmare. I was trying to manage contractors while I was down in Florida. I didn't know anything what I was doing. I didn't know what hard money lending was. I didn't know what any of that stuff was. But I was like, I'm just going to take action and see what happens. So On our first transaction, we were $25,000 over budget, and I still made 25 grand.
There
And
you
I was
go.
like, what in the world? I'm like, real estate, like there's this huge buffer and all this stuff. I was like, man, this is great. So today, I think we're about to start our 9th project. We've been doing it for 2 years, and I actually just took on a partner in a new venture. We're doing the same stuff, but we decided to create a new partnership, and just met with a lawyer the other day. So what I've been doing is I did flips at first. Through basketball, I've been able to meet a lot of private money lenders, so those relationships have helped me. So I've never really struggled to find money for a deal. I really just have to make a phone call because people have seen how I run my training business and know that that's how I do everything. So that's been a huge benefit for me. So through these projects, we've done mainly flips, but I do have 3 rentals now. The duplex will make 5 doors total when it gets done. And then we've just started in some Airbnb arbitrage. We have a property down in Crystal River, Florida, and that's been fun. And really just finding ways to create reoccurring revenue for my family. And just did some estate planning the other day, which was super fun.
That's
thinking
big.
Thinking
Huge.
about your debt.
Yep.
And your death and where everything's going.
Right.
And it's like the kid doesn't only get what you have and what you own, they also get what you owe as well.
Correct. So real estate has really been fun for me because I don't want my days to look the same ever. So now I have like plenty of stuff to do. There's new challenges. But it's taught me a lot as well. I've learned how to be more detailed, more meticulous, a better communicator, a better scheduler, which has helped me with my training business as well. But our goal is we're going to try to flip 2 houses and hold 2 houses a month with my new business partner.
Going to diversify a little bit versus just flips.
Yes. And then we've got some properties that we're going to hold in our we're going to do some short-term, mid-term, long-term rentals. You had spoken with Jonah.
I did.
Jonah has helped open my mind to some different ways to rent out a property besides just a long-term tenant.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Oh man, Jonah. And again, Jonah, one of my former clients. So it's been cool to see like some of these guys. Justin Dula, he's a real estate agent now. I was very close to him. We trained a lot. So watching these guys succeed. So I heard about what Jonah was doing. I called him up and I was like, don't bullcrap me. I was like, is this for real? And he's like, yeah, it's for real. So he's been helping me out a lot, try to figure out where we need to be because, again, since having a kid, things have changed for me. It's not just me and my wife. My wife is a very beautiful and capable woman. Now that she has Joshua, like that's another responsibility. So if something happens to me, I want to make sure that they're taken care of. So
Right.
That's really lit a fire underneath me. That's been really, really good for me. But yeah, so right now I'm fine taking on really anything, and it's given me a lot of confidence to know that if I don't know something, then great, I get to learn something new today. The new construction stuff, that's the whole reason, I was watching your video because I'm like, I'm about to go through this. I reached out to him and I was like, I think we have a lot in common with basketball and real estate, and we had a great phone conversation.
It was like an hour phone conversation.
Yeah,
and we knew a lot of people.
Yeah, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
And the best way to learn a lot of times is failing forward quickly.
Correct. And taking action, which goes right along with that. And I think that's the main thing that holds people back is they're just so afraid to take action. And like I said, I was like, the worst thing that can happen is I can just find a job working somewhere if I need to, if stuff goes wrong, and I can build my stuff back and get right back at it.
It's all the what ifs, right? What if it doesn't work? What
Right.
if I lose money?
But what if it does?
Well, yeah, what if
You
it
know?
does? Right.
It's like-
It's generally people look at one side of it.
Correct.
You mentioned that like a few of the guys that are in real estate were previous clients of yours. That
Yes.
kind of like goes back to the conversation you mentioned earlier of what's after the ball stops bouncing.
Correct. Yeah, it's very interesting to me, like how little these kids are talked to about their future besides basketball. There's such an emphasis put on where are you going to go play, where are you going to go to college, where are you going to go do this and that. It may be a controversial thing to say, but like I don't think college is for everybody. I think that we've demonized the trades. Bro, you know how it is. Like these trade people make a killing.
Yeah, they do.
Like electricians, plumbers, they're hard to come by. I've had to go through
good
8
one is.
projects to find good people. And they can charge me whatever they want because I can't say anything to them. I
Yeah.
can't say, no, bro, I'm going to go down the road. You're going to be waiting 6 months if you go down the road.
Or you're going to find somebody to mess your whole thing up.
Yeah, you either get
down the
shoddy
road
work
more.
or you got to wait forever for it.
That's it, man. So going back to that, it's like, what are you passionate about and how can you make money doing that? And what are you good at? You know, there's a lot of things like besides basketball, these kids don't know what they're good at. They've never been put in a situation to where it's like, I need to get outside of just basketball. So I have a friend, Daniel Hartness, that wrote a book about personal finance that we're starting to introduce to some of these kids. And we're having conversations of, okay, if you want to go to college, here's what the debt looks like. Here's what the payment looks like. Here's what your desired job field salary is going to look like. And having those conversations with them that it's like, I love you, I care about you as a basketball player, but forget all that for now. And like, let's talk about how you're going to provide for your future family.
Man, that's just like, it's so much more than training with you.
Yes. Well, it's like, it's just the entrance into their life because I like Coach Ellis, I can't thank him enough for the impact that he had on me. Like he showed me what a strong male influence looks like in a home. The way his kids respected him and stuff like that, I really looked up to that. I was like, man, like his kids like really look at him as a leader. And he was always taking them with him wherever he went, teaching them all this different stuff. And I'm like, that's the kind of person I want to be too, is like, so very few of the kids know about the real estate piece except for my older guys that are actually interested. Because the younger guys, you tell me to do real estate, they're like, what does that mean? But these older guys, they're like, so how do I get started? How do I do this and that? Should I try house hacking? Should I try this and that? So it's opened up the door to some conversations that I actually feel confident having now. But yeah, it's definitely way more than basketball. Coach Joey feels the same way. You know, we're just really helped to, like, I feel like it's my duty, especially with kids that are without a father in their life, to play my part, do as much as I can for that kid, help them out, like talk to them about these things and help them, you know, rationalize. I don't make the decision for them, but like think through the decisions that you're making. Like college is not the only option. Here's some other things. My brother's a perfect example. He thought he wanted to be a teacher. I'm like, bro, you don't want to be a teacher. I've been there. Like your personality type is not fit for a teacher. I'm like, you love working with your hands. Now he went to electrical school. He plans to own his own electrical company one day. He's working towards that. So it's things like that and conversations like that parents sometimes just don't have with their kids for whatever reason.
You just got a great electrician too for your property.
Oh,
so.
100%. I was kind of,
that's full circle. Two birds, one stone there.
Exactly. So I was like, as long as you commit to doing artwork too, I'm all for this.
And don't forget the friends and family discount.
Correct,
right?
correct. Don't be trying to screw me. But yeah, the real estate piece of it has opened the door to talking to other business owners too. So I've learned a lot about different industries and, you know, just the inner workings. Systems has really helped me. My partner Matthew is like a systems wizard. So he's really helped me to be like, okay, we need to set up a system for this. If this is a struggle point or we're spending too much time here, let's get a better system. So it's just like really helped across the board. Everything I've learned in real estate has helped in Velocity, and the relationships I've had in Velocity has helped real estate.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So where can like everybody find you at?
Yeah, so we're on, I'm not on TikTok anymore. I'm not a big fan of TikTok, but
Neither am I.
so
The spyware.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So Velocity Skills Training on Instagram, Velocity Skills Training on Facebook. Christian Beasley is my personal Facebook page. And then soon we'll have Master Key Home Solutions, LLC, which will be our main entity for our real estate.
And obviously the app as well.
Yeah,
Velocity
the app.
Skills
So-
Training. I just downloaded it. So
Yeah, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great resource. We offer it to kids, you know, as a learning piece, and you know, there's a lot of kids that don't take advantage of it that should be, and you know, just trying to change to where kids are actually passionate about things. Another thing I'll say about the basketball piece is I tell parents all the time, like, if your kid doesn't want this, don't sign them up. Like, I don't want your kid if they don't want to be here. Because we have the talk, again, more than basketball, where are you passionate? Do you really love basketball, or are you just here like, I don't want kids that are going to bring down the vibe and be like, oh, I don't really want to be here. Mom and dad just sign me up. So I was like, if you're not passionate about this, what are you passionate about? And we've had kids say like, hey, coach, I really don't love basketball. I love art. And I'm like, go take art lessons. Like, I don't want you here. Like, this is not where you should be. Like, go take art lessons. My family plays bluegrass music, which was a big culture shock for me. Like, I didn't even know bluegrass music existed, to be honest, before I met her. But whole family is musically inclined. So, you know, that's another piece for kids too. Our plan for our kid is art lessons, music lessons, and he's got to play some type of sport. God, please don't let it be soccer, anything but soccer. But yeah, that's where you can find me on social media. I've slacked a little bit recently trying to come up with some different approaches to content. It's so hard to be original. Like there's so much stuff out there.
Sounds like you've been pretty busy too.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit.
We just got a pretty good social media calendar that we can share with you when we pop off. That was pretty useful that we heard
Nice.
today from a conference we were at.
Good. I need all the help. But yeah, I think too, for me, things have shifted. I'll go back to my son for a second. That's been a big help for me, is just figuring out my why. And my why is so strong now that I feel like I really can just accomplish anything that I need to. Because my son took his first steps today. So he
No
took
way.
6 steps today.
I was kidding.
And man, it goes by so fast. The other day he was just crawling, and then he, like, every time I leave now, he stands at the window and waves at me. So it's just like it's so good for. I feel like a man. There's just something that comes out in you when you have a kid, and it's such a mindset shift to where, like, now stuff that used to bother me doesn't bother me anymore. And I don't get as nervous and stressed about things anymore because I know, like, I'm doing this for my son and my wife.
Yeah, you're
Clarity is
providing
power.
and your focus is much more narrowed.
Correct.
That's awesome.
I'll have
Clarity
to
is
show you-
power.
Yeah, so I'll have to show you the first steps. My wife got it on film. But another thing, too, is I am busy, but we've cut down our schedule because I want to be present with my son. We plan on homeschooling our kids. I want to be there for every step of the way to help connect them to people. Like, that's the great thing about, like, people like you. Maybe my son doesn't want to hear about real estate from me, you know? So I can say, hey, let's go talk, and you can go shadow, and you can, go, you know, just use those connections that I've created to really give him, like, opportunities to learn things that if I take him to a mechanic for a day, he'll know more about cars than I do.
Yeah.
I mean, so just giving him those opportunities is going to be a big thing. And freedom of time and schedule has been my whole goal from the start with Velocity. I put a lot of time and effort into other kids, but now since I have my own kid, you know, that's obviously where my priorities lie. So it's been good, and other things have slacked, but for the right reasons.
Were his first steps like a Euro step or anything like that? Or have you gotten that technical with him yet?
No, I wish. That would have been amazing. He got his first dunk on the little tight goal, and I got that on film. So
There you go.
There it is.
He had a little 2-hand slam.
Well
But
on his way.
Yeah, I cross him up all the time too, you know, just for so he really enjoys it. I know, like, right now, if I say go get the basketball, like, he lights up and he loves it. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Hopefully he picks up on it, but you never know.
That's cool. So what was the Instagram website one more time?
So it's Velocity Skills Training on Instagram, and then it's just velocityskillstraining.com on our website. So we've got some resources there. We just I didn't really mention it, surprisingly. So our big thing right now, our slogan is "Bums to Buckets." So we
That's
coined
awesome.
that about a couple years now. So the kids have really bought into it. Like, I've got parents calling their kids bums now. It's amazing. And but
That's great.
It's something that kids have gotten behind. So we have a store now where our Bums to Buckets T-shirts are on there. So we're working up some other designs and stuff for that. That's been really cool.
We'll have to see about getting a little shopping in.
Yeah, a little shirt action. We got some purple shirts that are super tough. That's been Joey talked me into that one. I was not a purple guy, but that's the only one I wear now.
There you go.
Yeah. But I appreciate you guys. This
Yeah.
has been really fun. It's nice to be able to share what we've been able to accomplish and, you know, where we're going in the future.
Yeah, we appreciate
Certainly.
you coming on. Appreciate
Yeah,
you taking
appreciate
the time.
making the drive down from Hickory.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, I
it was
appreciate
fun.
it. Man, that drive ain't that bad.
No, it's nice. I mean, the older I get, the more I like being alone. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't even play music or nothing. I'm like, it's nice to be in some quiet for once.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, all right. Christian Beasley, thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.